grow up with the NES, PlayStation, Star Wars, cartoons, and 80s TV? Do you like to think who would win in a fight between Batman and the Master Chief? Comics, games, movies, music, and TV, they're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of geeks. Games, movies, music, and TV, they're gonna tell you everything you need. Superheroes or not, they got your back. They're gonna save the world of This Week in Geek. This Week in Geek.
Well, hello, and welcome to another review show. In fact, this is probably going to be the last review show of the year. Some stuff here is from Birdman, myself. We might have something from one of our other friends at Twig, but we'll see how it goes. Most of these are items that were sent in for review, not necessarily stuff sent specifically for gift guide consideration, but came in right near the end of when the cutoff date for gift guide was, but also before, we're doing our year-end stuff. It's sort of a weird mishmash. So we're going to have a few reviews in here. I'm probably going to do a couple roundups of some of the movies that came in during the last few weeks, as well as some stuff for like an indie game roundup, probably the last one of the year. We'll see what else we've got included, but this is actually going to be a quick show because it's probably coming out either just before, depending on when embargoes lift on certain things, or just after the regular gift guide. But we're going to sort of pair them up probably on the same day, simply so we can make sure that everything gets heard in the right window, because the rest of the week is going to be taken up mostly with other gift guide stuff as well as the Game Awards stuff. So it's a mixture of hodgepodge in here. Without further ado, we're going to get into the reviews, and I'll come back at the end and just give a quick update on what programming is going to be like as we lead into Christmas. So I guess take it away, probably myself. Take it away, Alex. Alex, the producer here, and our friends at Celluloid Dreams sent over a review copy of their newest release, and it was kind of surprising. I had, wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh, there's a package at the door. What have we got here? And they sent over the newest release that they've got on Blu-ray, and it is a Hyena in the Safe. This is another Italian film that they have picked up the rights to. It's got the original Italian language on it. It is released on their website. You can pick it up, and it includes a special slipcover if you order from them. That is brand new original cover artwork painted by Thulu Pham, and an exclusive set of 8 restored 12 by 8 1/4 color reproductions of the lobby cards, which is cool because when I received it, it was like in a bubble mailer, and I was like, what's this? Oh, this is cool. Which, if you were a listener to us last year when they launched their company, they sent over the Tale of Bloody Iris that came with stuff like that too. So it's included on their website. They're selling it for $29.99 US. It's got at least right now it's on sale with original MSRP of $35. And if you order it through them, it includes these, like I said. So it's cool. I popped it in, was watching the film. It's region A coded, so it is specifically licensed for basically North America, and that, which is pretty sweet though. It is in Italian. The audio is 1.0 mono, but it is DTS HD. It's as clear as you're going to get it. I think they did a pretty good job of the restoration as best they could. English subtitles are included on the film. There's commentary by Guido Henkel on here as well, as with the previous releases. There are some features included are 7 Guests for a Massacre, which is an interview featurette with Cesar Canavero and a bunch of other people. I don't want to butcher their names, I'm sorry. There is a feature called Schrodinger's Diamonds, which is the duplicitous mystery of the hyena in the safe. Video essay included. There is a featurette that goes on the villas and basically shows the shooting locations, which is pretty awesome. Theatrical trailers included, as well as an image gallery. The basic story, without spoiling too much, is basically, there's a diamond heist. There's a bunch of robbers that want their cut from the heist. There is a safe. There's multiple double crosses, and only one key can open the safe, sort of thing. It's very interesting the way it was put together. It has the distinctive, interesting look of a film from that era, late 60s. It is in 1:3:3 aspect ratio, so it's in full screen, and it just gives that, retro chic look to it. Pretty sweet. Solid release. Obviously, the bonus features are always great to include here. They're well put together. The slipcover is really pretty, and what's interesting with it is it's basically, one side is the English cover and one side is the Italian, and the artwork that's on the actual Blu-ray itself is different. You do have to take it out of the slipcover if you want to read what the features are, but it's still a really solid release. And the way it comes is it's flat, and you sort of fold it into the shape you need, so that way nothing gets bent or destroyed in shipping, which is always appreciated as well. And the actual lobby cards are just beautiful. They're just a piece of their time, but they're pretty sweet. And I might start, if we start getting more review copies from our friends here at Celluloid Dreams, I might actually start putting together a collage that I can mount on my wall of all the different lobby cards from the different movies. Pretty sweet for collectors out there. I think you're going to like it. I'll put a link in the description for the show for you. Get it for yourself if you're a movie fan, of Italian cinema, or it might make a really good gift come the holidays, as we're vastly approaching the time where you might have a cutoff date for actually purchasing and getting it in time. But also consider, maybe you get some extra Christmas money. This is something you might want to pick up.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to talk to you about something neat we got sent from our friends over at Modifius. I'm going to be talking about the Fallout, the role-playing game. This is Royal Flush. This is a quest book, and well, what do you know? Fallout Season 2 is going to be taking place in New Vegas in just a little while, so kind of a good time to maybe visit the Mojave Desert. So this is sort of a prequel, or happens before the Battle of the Second Hoover Dam. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go play Fallout New Vegas. I'm doing that right now. I just shot Matthew Perry in the face. It was a good time. So yeah, what is this book? So this is a series of quests that takes you across the Mojave. You do have some interactions with New Vegas, so you are going to meet people like the King. You're going to run into the followers of the Apocalypse, the NCR, stuff involving Mr. House, but it's more or less what happens before that. You're in the outskirts of the Mojave. So you're mostly fighting raiders. There are some super mutants in there. I don't know whether this is a new enemy. I'm pretty sure it is the Cazador, which is the giant fly-like thing. But you're going to see a lot of familiar bad guys here. So don't go expecting geckos of all types of varieties, stuff like that. If you want to have more monsters, you can use some of your previous books or stuff like that, or I'm sure there's some pretty interesting homebrew stuff available out there as well. As for a quest book itself, it does kind of play into the idea where you have to make allies along the way. There is kind of a big battle at the end where you're going to need friends and you're going to need guns, and isn't that the story of war? War never changes. And it's an interesting quest book. I don't know if I'd call it necessarily essential to your Fallout collection, just because I'm hoping there'll be a more fleshed out New Vegas book after Fallout Season 2 happens, and we can do a little bit more with the license. However, though, it does give you a flavor for the region, but there's not a lot of maps or anything, so I might recommend maybe getting existing maps of the area and figuring out where stuff is. But it does give you enough visual descriptors and talking about stuff that you can kind of figure out how to set your adventures with your wasteland survivors and the people at your table. It also introduces a hard timeline, saying, once again, this takes place before the battle, the second battle, of Hoover Dam. So before the events of the game, just so, you don't have the NCR and the Legion doing their own thing, or maybe what happened with Mr. House and stuff like that. And again, I think it's interesting. I don't know if this is something that a rookie GM should run. I figure this is something maybe a little bit more intermediate, and it does say you should be at this level, and it does kind of set how tough enemies should be, so that I kind of like how they've gamified that, saying if you fight this, you should at least be at this level, or here's how much experience this is worth. But depending on how you level up your games, are you using XP? Are you using milestones? It even gives you advice for that. Like, you should gain a level if you do 2 side quests. It does give you a ton of those. And there is like 4 or 5 main quests that you're doing, and all the varied NPCs and the outcomes and all the gear and whatnot. Royal Flush is an interesting idea for the Fallout role-playing game. I do wish there were some more bad guys in here, but there are ones, like I said, there's the Cazador, which is, again, nice to have a Mojave enemy here. I wish there were geckos, because that would make it just a little bit more New Vegas-ish for me. But if you're jonesing to play something that feels like the Fallout television show going into Season 2, this will definitely scratch that itch, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else happens with the Fallout line from Modiphius moving forward. There's still tons of DLC that hasn't been covered. There are tons of bad guys that haven't been checked out. So if you're willing to play your cards right, then you can check out Royal Flush from our friends over at Modiphius for the Fallout role-playing game.
Alex, the producer here, and we are doing our final game roundup, our indie roundup. It might be a indie/AA roundup of what is been sent in for review over the last little bit that won't make it to the main show because we're done for the year and we're ready for the gift guides coming out and everything. But there's a few things I wanted to talk about here. The first, we'll just get right into it, is Encounter the Lost Cards. This is a turn-based roguelike with tight interconnected mechanics. It is from a solo developer in Canada, so when they offered a review copy on PC to check out, I was like, sure. I ended up playing it a bit, let my brother play it a bit, had a great time. Works on basically anything. It's got some really good potential. I could see it, getting some updates here and there. It has a really good, interesting art style. I'd say it performs quite well. It's not overly difficult for me to get into. I'm not usually into these styles of games, but I had a good time with it, and I can at least recommend it for sure, so it's worth checking out. I'll put a link in the description of the show so you can check it out yourself. Moving on to our next little indie title, and that is the Jellicoe Sports Goal. This is a collection of a couple of soccer games that were available on the NES, as well as the Super Nintendo. You probably saw them, in bargain bins when you were growing up, or if you didn't have them, they are exactly what you'd expect. Done, brought over with a modern emulator with a pretty good interface to control. I had a chance to play it. It's available on Switch, PlayStation, and Steam. It works well regardless of what you have it on. The complete manuals are in English, French, Dutch, German, Spanish, and Japanese. It has head-to-head, local you can play with, or up against the CPU. It has the option to do things like rewinds, all the stuff that you'd expect from a modern, retro game put on a console. It has the option to have like filter effects on the screen, CRT effects, all the modern stuff that you'd like, and it's pretty solid. Our friends over at Rocket Games sent the review copy, and they did a solid release for it. I think it's obviously going to be bigger in the countries where soccer is a bigger thing, but I think here it brought back some memories of popping in the old games and the old cartridges, and I had a good time obviously playing as Team Canada in this. Worth checking out, worth your time for sure. Another game that I wanted to do a larger review on, and we might end up doing one in the future, but as of right now, I can say for my first impressions, I'm having a great time, and it's with Demon School. This was on my radar for quite some time, and it came in just as we were getting ready to do our programming for end of the year stuff. So I've been slowly working my way through it, and this was the game that was sort of presented as like a Persona 1 and 2 like, but with modern sensibilities. There's grid-based battle combat, interesting characters, really cool art style that does evoke the Persona games, but also adds its own stuff to it. Really cool bosses. I'm playing it on PC, but it's also going to be available on, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. Works on basically any hardware you pop at it. You can rewind any action during the planning phase, so you can create different combos and that, so you figure out what's the best thing to do. It's light horror narrative, but not like overly dark. You plan your school schedule, sort of like Persona with it. There's 15 characters that you can build relationships with. If you like, Persona, and you like tactics games like Final Fantasy Tactics, that sort of stuff, you'll have a good time with it. I think it's solid. We'll probably do a deeper dive a little bit later on in that, but it's well worth it, worth your time. I want to talk a little bit about Milano's Odd Job collection. This was sent to us from our friends at Exceed Marvelous, and this was a game that for like nearly 2 decades was sort of stuck in the East, was maybe ready to come here but didn't come here, and it is a pixel art, sort of like a pixel art game that was done with, the art style it's kind of hard to pin down. If you liked, like, what was it, Wonder Project and certain games, if you played like translated games like that on the N64/PS1 era, it's that sort of style, maybe like a little bit like a Klonoa sort of look, but it's like mini games. You're doing things like washing dishes and almost like a WarioWare type thing. Really fun, cutesy. I had a good time with it. I wanted to, maybe spend a little more time before we do a full review, but my first impressions, if you're looking to get a gift for somebody, this is something to consider. I think it's actually pretty sweet. The controls are tight and concise. It's a solid visual pleasure to watch. Audio wise, it is perfectly, acceptable, and having a good time with it. The next game I want to mention here, and it's probably going to be the last game I mention, at least in this little section here, is our friends at Red Art Games sent a review copy of Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered International to check out. Now, this is a game that was released. It was a reimagining of the original Romancing Saga game that was on the Super Nintendo, that was originally brought out on PS2. Now it's available on Switch, PS5, PS4, and I've had a chance to play it. It takes a little bit of getting used to. The art style is a little chibi, a little bit off, but they did a pretty good time. Like, did a pretty good job actually translating it to modern consoles, and the controls. Once you get used to how the Saga games play, I think if you're a veteran of the series like me, you'll have a good time with it. It is not as substantial a remake as what Square Enix themselves did to Romancing Saga 2 last year. So don't go into it with that in mind. Go into it thinking, here's a PS2 game that has now been brought to, in HD to modern times, with modern, loading sensibilities and whatnot. And once you get used to the controls of how it controls, you're going to have a pretty good time with it. It is, a well-translated, well-made game. It's obviously the international version that has been enhanced. So we're getting the most complete version of this. It is not going to be for everybody. This is not the first RPG you give kids to try. This is an RPG for fans of the PS2 era of RPGs. It's probably the best way I could describe it. There is localizations in French, German, Italian, and Spanish, which is exclusive to this edition, because previously it had been English and Japanese only. Full HD graphics update. There are 4 characters that can be recruited that couldn't be recruited before. There's enhanced, more difficult bosses depending on the difficulty you set. There's a high-speed mode if you need to fast-forward through, which is definitely helpful in games like this. There's mini-maps now, which they didn't have before. New Game Plus mode. Voices are either in Japanese or English, so they kept that, which is good. Very solid release, I think. It's not going to blow your socks off. This isn't going to be, again, the entry RPG you give kids. But if we're a fan of the original version of it, it's worth picking up. If you're a fan of the series, it is a bit shocking how different it is than maybe the remake that was done last year of the second game. But go into it with the mindset of, this is a remaster, an enhanced version of a 20-some-odd-year-old game that itself was a remake of a game that was 30 years old right now. So if you go into it with that, I think you'll have a good time. And that is pretty much it for this little roundup here, this quick first impressions roundup of all of the, these little games that were from indie studios. And I hope that there's something here that you're maybe interested in, that maybe you would have, I guess, forgotten about or skipped over, and that nothing worth, completely skipping here. I would say if you find any of these on sale for the holidays digitally, they're worth picking up. If you have a gift card, if you get something, for yourself from Christmas for a gift card for Steam or for whatever platform you're on, I think you'll have a good time picking up pretty much anything here.
Howdy, Twig listeners. This is David from Loose Cannon and Ram with several questions for you. Do you like blood, violence, freaks of nature? Well, then you need to check out my latest book recommendation from our friends at Inside Editions, as they are proud to present a behind the scenes of one of the most infamous horror films that almost wasn't. Get your fried chicken, put on your Halloween mask, and get ready to meet Dr. Satan and the rest of the Firefly family, because I'm talking about Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, the making of a cult classic by Rob Zombie. Celebrating its 20th anniversary back in 2023, House of a Thousand Corpses marked the feature debut of Rob Zombie, as he took us into the depths of hell with an 89-minute tale about two young couples traveling through backwoods Texas and stumbling into their demises at the hands of a family of serial killers known as the Fireflies. Now, to celebrate the legacy of a film that spawned 2 sequels, endless merchandise, multiple songs, and fans across the globe, Rob Zombie has put together a 300-page hardcover book with dust jacket that leaves no stone unturned on the nightmare you saw on the screen, but also the nightmare he faced off the screen. Starting with an introduction by the man himself, Rob Zombie gives you insight into the troubles he faced from the get-go, with both Universal and MGM originally signing on to release the film, only to end up deserting the project due to creative differences. But somehow, 20 years later, the film is more popular than ever, despite a bomb it delivered at the box office initially. From there, you'll dive into a collection that includes film stills, rare artwork, concept sketches, plus the director's original shooting script, complete with Zombie's own handwritten notes that will take you deeper into the legacy and lore of this one-of-a-kind cult classic. It's House of a Thousand Corpses like you've never read it before, as you'll get to find out what made up the nearly 40 minutes removed from the final cut, original dialogue plus changes made during production, editing notes, set dressing recommendations, and so much more. Housed in a beautifully illustrated hardback book with cover art by Graham Humphreys that's worth the purchase alone, the character sketches by Zombie himself add a special something for any fan, as you can see firsthand the genesis of Zombie's creations on paper coming to life on the silver screen, due to the horrifyingly memorable performances by Sid Haig, Karen Black, Bill Moseley, Dennis Fimple, and more. Zombie even pays his respect to the fallen stars of the film that we've lost since its release, once again showcasing the legacy left behind from a 25-day shooting schedule spent on the backlots of Universal Studios Hollywood and a ranch in Valencia, California. Whether you're a zombie fan, horror fan, or a movie fan, you can't afford to miss this one-of-a-kind collection curated by one of the most infamous shock rockers of all time. So run, rabbit, run to your computer or smartphone and pick up a copy of House of a Thousand Corpses, the making of a cult classic. Available now at InsideEditions.com.
Oh, time is finally here. That's right, Alex, the producer, here with my first impressions and review of Marvel Cosmic Invasion from Dotemu and Tribute Games. They sent a review copy for me to check out, and I've been jumping in and off in between all the other obligations we have for the podcast lately, and I've played enough to give my first impressions here. You can complete the game in roughly 3 to 5 hours if you just do the critical path, like the main part of the game. As far as extra stuff, I've probably got 7 to 10 hours or so more to go. I would say, like, you probably get about 20 to 30 hours of completion this run, depending on your skill level out of this. Obviously, if you're a fan of beat 'em ups and you know, like last year was like TMNT, and then there's like Rita Repulsa, the Rita games and all. That's sort of what we're going for here, and we've all sort of been waiting for this game, and it just came out, and you know, it's good to go. I'm having a great time with it. The graphics are fantastic. The controls are tight. My review copy was on Steam, so I've been playing it there, and it plays on basically any platform. I'm using an older computer. It's like 7 years old in my bedroom, and it plays fine. Plays good on my gaming computer in the living room. Regardless if you play it on PC, Xbox Series XS, PS4, PS5, or Switch 1 and 2, you're going to have a good time. Just note that it's not on Xbox One. It's just Xbox X and S. But obviously every other platform is supported. And it's already out as of this recording, and it's $29 US, so $30, plus tax. Keep an eye out. Maybe there's a sale going on, but as it stands, if you're looking to spend like your money, on a gift card for somebody, or if you have a gift card that you receive, if you listen to this at Christmas or just before or just after, whatever it is, if you're looking for a game to pick up for $30 that you're going to have a fun time playing with friends, man, you really can't go wrong with this. And at least from my first impressions here, I'm having a hell of a time. It's just smiles ear to ear. It reminds me of playing like the old Simpsons or X-Men arcade game in the early 90s from Konami on PC. Sorry, on arcades, but versus that on PC here. And I'm having a great time. So yeah, worth checking out. Link in the description if you're looking for a good game to pick up with the gift card that you've got sitting around with your Christmas money.
Hey guys, this is Mike the Birdman here. I'm here to talk to you about something we got sent for review from our friends over at Razer. I'm talking about the Razer Kitsune. This is the 2XKO all-button optical arcade controller for PlayStation 5 and PC. This is a leverless arcade controller. This is the first time I've ever messed with something like this, and this is weird. I have never played with a leverless controller in my life. I grew up in the arcades. I grew up on Mortal Kombat 2, Marvel vs. Capcom, X-Men Children of the Atom, of course Street Fighter 2 and all its iterations, and I've even owned my own arcade machine and have been playing with sticks competitively since about 2009 when I used to play competitive Super Street Fighter 4, and yeah, so you might say I kind of know what I'm talking about. So a little while ago, Razer sent me this. I actually went to a press briefing on this, and ultimately I was really impressed with it. I figure, all right, cool, this is going to be really neat for precision. Mortal Kombat is built upon really simple inputs. Like I play Melina competitively in Mortal Kombat 2, so hold high punch for her sai, back down high kick for her roll, and forward low kick for her teleport. I figure, all right, awesome, I'll be able to put these precisely in, and I'm going to be ready to rock and roll. And well, I got my ass kicked with this thing, and it's because I'm old. And it's funny, like I really thought my skills would translate to a leverless controller, and it's so funny because I have to relearn muscle memory that I'm having to unlearn decades of rolling a stick or tapping directional buttons, and it's just such an alien concept to me to play on a leverless controller because now I have to relearn where my fingers are going. And I'm gonna say this about the Razer Kitsune. If you are brand new to learning a fighting game, like literally, if you are coming in with zero expectations, if you are coming in purely from controller, or if you are just learning to get into the scene and you don't have sort of a pre-programmed muscle memory from using a stick, I could actually see this being really, really good for you. The Razer Kitsune, it is like thin. I have books heavier than this thing. I have seen those back to school notebooks that are thicker than this. This thing is like about as big as a piece of paper and probably about as thick as, like, I don't know, a small notebook. Like literally, you can throw this thing in like a laptop sleeve and you can take this to wherever you want to go. The fact that it's PlayStation 5 and PC compatible, really neat. In fact, I could actually see maybe me using this for like an arcade type shooter, like a shmup that really depends on those precise controls. But for a fighting game, I could not get this to work accurately, at least with my experience. I did try playing this with the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I messed around with Mortal Kombat 2, which is the game I was most familiar with, and I messed around with Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And I could not get the memory down. Now, if I was playing a purely Scorpion player, back, high punch or low punch, whatever his spear is, I could get that down really good. And when I could get that off and my muscles were working the buttons, that actually felt really good. Like, there are some really good switches in this controller. Like, I think the Kitsune could be really deadly in the hands of someone playing a game like Tekken or Virtua Fighter or Soul Calibur, a game where you're not having to jump around a whole shit ton, but if it's like simple back and forward and down motions, yeah, I could see this being really awesome. Like maybe even something like Dragon Ball Fighters or anything that comes out of like Arc System Works. Ultimately, the Razer Kitsune is not for me, and that kind of hurts to say because it means I'm getting old. I mean, damn it, guys. I'm 15 years away from collecting old age pension if I'm not killed by Doritos or doing something stupid in the street. But ultimately, the Razer Kitsune, what I'm going to recommend for this controller is if you are really dedicated to learning a fighting game and you have no previous expectation and you don't have any old bad learned habits, then this is for you. Like if you are coming into the fighting game genre, it's honestly a great time to be a fighting game fan right now. We've got like a new Marvel fighting game coming out fairly soon. There's the Invincible fighting game coming out next year. We have the resurgence of the old scene coming back. And if you're willing to learn and put the work in, you're going to have an outstanding time. Now, for the rest of you older fighting game community players, you're going to have to take the time to learn this. And it's really going to have to be a trick. You're going to have to relearn all your combos. You're going to have to relearn how to do like Akuma's Raging Demon. You're going to have to relearn how to do Zangief's grabs and throws and stuff like that. There's a lot to learn, but the unparalleled precision, if you're willing to learn that, I could see this being a real game changer. When I did a lot of my research for this, I heard stories about people bringing these fight sticks to tournaments and absolutely mopping the floor with people because that's what they learned on. And it blows my mind that my skills didn't translate over, and maybe that was part of my arrogance. So my final recommendation for the Razer Kitsune 2X KO edition, you can get other skins if you want. You can get like a Street Fighter one, a basic black, and the esports green. I'm gonna say watch a few videos. If you have a chance to go to one of the Razer stores to see if you can maybe have someone demo this for you, then I think that's going to be about the best option for you. Otherwise, maybe check out your favorite fighting game community content creator and see what they have to say. I myself am not a huge fan of this because it's just not how I play fighting games, but it might be for you. If you are coming into the scene fresh and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, then hey, maybe you are ready to throw it down, and I guess I've now officially fallen into the category of get good scrub. And that's what I have to say about the Razer Kitsune.
Alex, the producer here, and I'm going to be doing a very quick movie roundup of what's come in over the last couple of weeks that we didn't have a chance to put in the regular show. There's actually been a few things here that are pretty interesting. A couple, I'll just get right into it, from our friends at the Criterion Collection. I wanted to make note that all these should be available at or before Christmas, so if you're looking to pick some stuff up for the cinemaphile or the movie lover in your life, you can always go ahead and check out the links that I'll include in the show description for you to check them out there. We have I Know Where I'm Going, which is a film by Michael Powell. This is a 4K and Blu-ray combo. It's in its original 1:37 aspect ratio. The movie's from 1945, so obviously it's from the era where scope wasn't available yet. Black and white movie. Pretty fun. It's an interesting listen and watch just to see the restoration from the British Film Institute on this. Good film. For a full review, we might have one coming later, but I did enjoy it. The next film here from our friends at Criterion is Return to Reason. Now, this film is 1923 to 1929. It is 4 films by Man Ray. 70 minutes long. You know, these are short films that are all put together. It's a very good, interesting look at that time of when things were in transition before everything went to full, talkie pictures. What's interesting here with this set It's 4K digital restorations of all 4 films, featuring a brand new score presented in 5.1. So, obviously silent back in the day would have had live people doing the music in the theater. Now has a proper score in surround sound, including in some of the special features. There is interviews with Jim Jarmusch, as well as a couple other people from the rock band Skrull, which is the band that did the music for this. There's a concert from 2023 on there as well, and essays. Both are solid releases, more for the cinemaphile in your life, not necessarily going to be for the mainstream, but they are really good releases as to be expected from the Criterion Collection. And just sort of rapid fire going through some of these other movies that came in from different partners here. We might do some longer form reviews on them if time provides before we go on hiatus at the end of the year, but wanted to make mention of a couple from our friends at 88 Films. There is a old school softcore thriller, 11 Days, 11 Nights 2 from our friends at 88 Films. This is part of their Italian collection, and this is a 4K set, region free, being that it's obviously because it's 4K. But they also include a Blu-ray in here as well, and it is region ABC, so both the Blu-ray and the 4K are region free. Pretty good thriller for the time period. The film's about 90 minutes long. It's in the original aspect ratio 1:6:6:1, which is the standard European ratio for the time. There is English and Italian soundtrack options. So what's good is it has the dub, which is how I watched it, and it's pretty much what you'd expect for a film of its caliber. It's pretty entertaining. There's full commentary tracks. There's interviews with the composers and people. There is a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes features here. The original Italian opening and closing credits separately. You can get reversible sleeve, as well as the original poster included. Pretty sweet. Worth watching. Not for kids. We can say that confidently. Then we also have, from our friends at 88 Films, Yuen Bao starring in Rosa. Now, this is, comes in a little bit thicker box, premium box. This is an action-packed martial arts, comedy and romance movie, sort of mixture all in one. This is on Blu-ray. It's released with brand new 2K restoration from the original negative. It is in its original aspect ratio. You've got the 2.0 Cantonese mono, which is standard, plus brand new English subtitles that have been retranslated, which is good. It does have the 2.0 English dub, which not a lot of their films do have when they include them. I always like seeing that in there, and that's how I ended up watching it actually as well. The audio commentary from a Hong Kong cinema experts in here. There is commentary from another expert that did research in the film. There is interviews with people that were involved in the creation, English opening titles, English closing titles, image gallery, original trailer, all that stuff. And with this limited edition, there is the rigid slipcase, which is what I have here. There's a collectible postcard, a 40-page perfect bound book featuring writing on the film. And it's a really solid release. Now, the Blu-ray in here is region AB, so it is region coded for the vast majority of our listeners, I would say. So if you're looking to pick up a really cool film, 88 Films has been killing it with their releases lately, so that's worth checking out for sure. And then I have a couple more releases here. Our friends over at MVD Visual and VCI have sent their Psychotronica Collection Volume 1, which has delinquent schoolgirls. It's this exploitation film of the of the 70s. It's the first time it's been on Blu-ray. There is a feature commentary from the actor Bob Miner. There is a featurette diving into the cult cinema of that era, original trailers, two-sided cover wrap for it, and it's restored in 4K from an original copy of the film, which is pretty sweet. The film's from 1975. It's in widescreen, and it has all of the trappings you'd expect of a film of that era, but basically the protagonist it's hard to... Okay, you get the title. I'll just say that. Delinquent Schoolgirls is what you'd expect. There's people escaping from an asylum. They're going on the attack, and yada, yada, yada. Sexploitation, grindhouse drive-in. You get it. It's a solid release if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, which we generally are. And the final release I'm going to talk about here just very quickly is from our friends at MVD with their Rewind collection, and it's the best Christmas movies ever. Now, what this is, it's a documentary that takes you on a nostalgic journey through the most beloved Christmas classics, featuring exclusive interviews with stars, filmmakers, and critics. The special presentation is an extended cut of the film and explores the heartwarming stories behind the scenes of films like Home Alone, Elf, The Santa Claus, which is a favorite of mine, Miracle on 34th Street, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, It's a Wonderful Life. And for instance, like there's interviews with Brent Spiner in here and Mick Foley. It's got 1.78 to 1 aspect ratio, the standard for regular TVs now. The audio is completely uncompressed 5.1 surround PCM audio, so it'll play in any player regardless of your receiver. It'll just work, and the audio is definitely clear and easy to hear. There is an audio commentary included with the director and the producer, deleted and extended scenes. There's a featurette from when they were live at GalaxyCon on here. There's a movie trailer, collectible mini poster, two-sided artwork, comes in a slip box. Pretty solid stuff. It is region ABC. You can play it worldwide in any player, no problems whatsoever. Just a little something that you might want to consider for the movie lover in your household that loves Christmas stuff. It's just like a little stocking stuffer. If you do pick it up for them, maybe give it to them a little early so you can watch it before Christmas or at Christmas. Maybe let them open it Christmas Eve so you can watch it together. That's just pretty cool. Just wanted to cover those things here just very briefly. It was just sort of a collection of the movies that came in that we didn't get a chance to do full reviews of right away, but I definitely, after watching them, can recommend them wholeheartedly. Links in the description. That's going to do it probably for our movie roundup for the rest of the year. So if we have more movies come in, hopefully we can cover them in the last minute gift guide. We'll see where it goes from there, but that's it. I'm going to send it over to either myself or somebody else, but that's it for our movie roundup.
Those magnificent bastards!
Color me kooky, but something very odd is going on around here.
You're not allowed to talk anymore.
And that's going to do it for the show this week, and maybe for the year when it comes to the review shows. We might have one more. It all depends on what came in late. But yes, we are in the middle of our gift guide coverage this week. The main show either should be out either before this or right after. We also have our last minute gift guide information, which is coming out either at the end of this week or the beginning of next. And the main show is going to be, on hiatus until the end of January. But the last sort of live programming that we're doing is for our coverage of the Game Awards. Expect that at the end of this week or early into the weekend, depending on how people's schedules work. We're all prepped for that. And then we're basically on hiatus. Birdman has mentioned that he's recording some Lord of the Rings coverage to come out during the holiday season. We also have a bunch of loose cannons, as well as Future Imperfects and some RAM episodes. We'll sort of pepper in between. I'm also going to be working this week. I don't even know what the next episode of Earth vs. Soup is because I've got a next batch that I'm going to be doing. I'll probably edit and have scheduled all of the next few weeks worth until we're back from our break. And then I'm going to do a big batch that'll take us out into the spring when we do another break again. So it's very, very busy. Hope that you found some stuff in this show that was to your liking. There's still time as of this recording to pick things up physically, either in stores or order for delivery, order by mail for some things. And of course, there's always digital options for some things that are probably covered here. But that's it. This is a quick and dirty episode. We just wanted to make sure that we had time to talk about some of the stuff that didn't make it into the regular show before the hiatus and also wouldn't have made it for the regular programming slot for the gift guide. So hope there's some cool stuff in here that you liked. And we'll be back later on this week with the coverage of the Game Awards on the prototype.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored
if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.